the children can't do the sticky leg unless you do it like George. Back it up in the garage. Make them know we squad living large. Hold a salute every sarge. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again. Introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again. Introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Ling Bang, no matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme, Ling Bang. No matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme. We like when you shake it. Never gonna DR if you can't fake it. Entire yam, heart and thick. Mama take 9 months to make it. Act like you didn't need Johnny cake before you bake it. Take a pass to the cars, then twerk it. Then your style you can't buy the new market. All of the styling bang surpass it, yo. Watch when they blaze it. Have the chimbal like we don't tease it. Tell the DJ, rewind it. Bust a sweat and work it. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again. Introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again. Introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts.
Beeb said, play your position. Don't make nobody live free in your mind or in your mansion. They need to stop, they make assumption. Free bars stick like gumption. Chop.
Boom, peel it off, give the technician time for paste the hook up. Big mistake, to judge the content by the cover and not read the book up. Boom, peel it off, give the technician time for paste the hook up. Big mistake, to judge me by the color of my skin and by the way how I look.
Then they try rob we culturally. We wax lyrically, spiritually, truthfully. Exposing evil spirits and hypocrisy. We do this habitually. Keep the mental vibes up at any party. Levels to my self game is type culinary. Dropping so many gems they call me jewelry. We no need no chat GBT. We do this organically.
Boom, peel it off. Give the technician time for place the hook up. Big mistake for judge the content by the cover and not read the book up. Boom, peel it off, give the technician time for place the hook up. Big mistake, for judge me by the color of my skin and by the way how I look.
Bob say, if they turn tonight, you would have find out how much people they hate you just for spite. We good on this side, so they could have hate with all their might. Hate we cause we bars tight. Cause me and my team, they catch Lee light. Don't try bring your feelings to this fuck fight. Call me Cleveland when a time for take flight.
Boom, peel it off. Give the technician time for place the hook up. Big mistake for judge the content by the cover and not read the book up. Boom, peel it off. Give the technician time for place the hook up. Big mistake for judge me by the color of my skin and by the way how I look.
Then they try rob we culturally. We wax lyrically, spiritually, truthfully, exposing evil spirits and hypocrisy. We do this habitually. Keep the mental vibes up at any party. Levels to my self game is type culinary. Dropping so many gems they call me jewelry. We no need no chat GBT. We do this organically.
Boom, peel it off. Give the technician time for place the hook up. Big mistake for judge the content by the cover and not read the book up. Boom, peel it off. Give the technician time for place the hook up. Big mistake for judge me by the color of my skin and by the way how I look.
G-Mike, the way no link? Alright, hold on to it. Alright, hold on to it.
On a mercy, no mercy. I'm feeding a song by a peanut butter sandwich if we think so that it's thirsty. This technique they come all the way from out of the blaze and jungle. When I get my teachings from the monks out of the Mayan temple. Them say Siwa, the humble, gentle and respectful. But if I hear that text, then we have to move on the double. So think you blink, I like the Bermuda triangle. We know the chicken. Oh. Tackle. That is time to
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our weekly podcast. I am G. Michael Reed from Belize City. CY is in New York City. Gregory Morrison is in Los Angeles. And Joe Cowie is here with us in the Jewel. Should have an exciting show tonight. We do this every Wednesday evening where we meet you, greet you, and discuss the matters we believe relevant. Tonight's show should be one of those that will spark a lot of interest. It's about the diaspora and some of the issues that we're facing there. We expect a couple of prominent people who do represent the diaspora and believes his interests abroad. It's a matter that has been ongoing. I don't know how, but we will have to find a way to work this out. We treasure our human resource that are abroad, that is not in the city or the country. They also, we believe, treasure Belize and their citizenship. So we have to find a way to bridge the gap, because for a long time there's been some contention, some bones of contention. Don't know what we're gonna wind up doing at the end of the day to make this come to an amicable solution. We do have to do something. We do have to make sure that those abroad feel connected and those at home feel appreciated also. There are a lot of people who stayed in Belize through the tough times, and so we have to also credit their longevity, their commitment to the Jewel. There are many people who went abroad, and much of what they did was just to send back home as much help as they could. We have to appreciate that and recognize their contribution to the development of our country. All right, I see we have already one guest in the house. Tonight we are joined by Her Excellency, Miss Sanya Murphy. Am I pronouncing that name right? Sanya. Hi, Murphy. Mrs. Murphy, Miss Murphy, are you?
Mrs. Murphy.
Mrs. Murphy.
Good evening, by the way. Good evening.
A pleasure. Good evening. I see Miss Marla is on. Good evening, Miss Marla. Your mic is on mute.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening.
All right. Deidre is on. Hi, Deidre. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining.
All right. Thanks, guys. This is our second year of doing the Sea Smoke Link Up show, and it has been interesting. We've had some wonderful guests. Tonight, though, we're honored, and we have in our presence some very prominent Belizeans doing just the kind of work that is necessary to bridge the gap between those at home and those who are abroad. Thank you, ladies, for the good work that you're doing. How is it going, Miss Marla? To you first. How is you're the ambassador to the United Nations. What is your official title?
No, I'm the Senior Liaison Officer in the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations.
Okay, and you, Miss Murphy?
Yes, I am the Ambassador for Diaspora Relations.
Oh, you're the ambassador. Yes, okay, my right. Bad. All right, and that entails basically what?
So, as ambassador, really what it is what we're trying to do is connect with the diaspora and really get a good understanding of what it is that they want, what is it that they need, where they need support, and how we at the Diaspora Relations Unit can bring that to them.
Ms. Murphy, if you could identify any stumbling block, any problem that exists between Belizeans at home and in the diaspora, what would you think it to be?
Well, a lot of what we've been hearing about is, I think, a lot of the same things that you have been discussing, with land issues, for example. We do get a lot of complaints, if you will, about that. People ask a lot about about paying taxes and immigration. I think those are the three biggest things. Um, and those are the things that we're really trying to deal with right now. We don't. This is the thing. Really, the unit is like a conduit, right, between the diaspora and the government of Belize, if you will. We are just trying to assess and see what's going on with the people, with the diaspora, and see how we can assist them to really get them to re-engage back into community at home. So many people leave, and there's a big problem with brain drain, right? And we really need that expertise and talent back home. Now, a lot of people can't come back home necessarily to live, but you can still share your talents and expertise. And especially today with technology the way it is, we have a lot of options in terms of how that can happen. But when you ask about the issues or the stumbling blocks, there are quite a few things. Like I said, we hear a lot about land issues, taxes, immigration. But I will tell you something. One of the things I've seen and what I've come across a lot is that there's and this is something that's been created from way back when, right? There's a certain amount of distrust, if you will. I think there's so many things that have happened in the past with, just with maybe previous governments, just past situations that really, again, what we're trying to do is build that trust back with the diaspora. It's a hard thing to do because of what the experience has been for so many people. But that's really one of the biggest things that we're working on, is just to let people know that we're here, that the government is here to support them, and really try to get them to re-engage back home.
Well, it's hard, but certainly important, no? I mean, that's something that has to be done. You have an office in the States? In what, where?
So I actually work out of my home. That's my office.
Okay.
But I am available.
What state? Where?
I'm in Miami. I'm in Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But certainly you can always reach me by email or WhatsApp. And also the main office is in Belize City. And if you ever need to reach me, you can always reach out to the office also, and they would get a hold of me.
So you're accessible for advice and help with matters that people, problems that they experience?
Absolutely. And I do get so many emails and WhatsApp messages from people in that regard, expressing what their thoughts are and, what issues they're having.
And Miami does have a sizable Belizean community also, right? It seems like many are now moving in their older years, moving out to Miami, but still seemingly want to be engaged with Belizean
oh,
matters.
yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Miss Marla, where are you working out of?
I am in Belize City. Our office is located right on Regent Street.
Okay. So, and people can contact you because many have family at home, right? Yeah.
Definitely. A lot of people contact us through WhatsApp, through email, or WhatsApp. We have a WhatsApp number, 666-2978. And
can you repeat that? 666.
One second.
666-2978, I believe you said.
One second. Let me get the correct number for you. 666-9581. That's our WhatsApp number.
Wonderful. All right.
And we have an email address too that they can reach out to us, which is diaspora.relations at tourism.gov.bz.
Okay.
And we get a
Tourism.
lot of emails, and we get a lot of emails and phone calls from members of the diaspora. One of the main things that they call us about are inquiries about how to renew their passport, how to get their land paper, pay for their land tax, and also for the diaspora returnee incentive program. I don't know if you're aware of that program.
I am aware of it, but just for those, the benefit of those who aren't aware of it, can you give us a hypnosis?
Sure. The program, the Diaspora Returnee Incentive Program, is for those Belizeans who have been living abroad for 10 years and more who wish to come home now. They can apply to the program and they can bring in their household items up to a value of 20,000 US dollars and their mode of transportation free of taxes, which is the GST and the custom duties.
Okay, so they
But
could
those
bring vehicles if they have a car. They can bring that
one, they're
one
allowed
car, one vehicle.
one
Okay.
vehicle. They are allowed a boat if they have a
Right.
boat, and they are allowed 20,000 US dollars of their household items. The process is easy. We have a application form that they fill out. They provide proof of living abroad, which can be their income tax statement, their social security statement, their job letter, or if they have a mortgage. We have several options that they can use to verify that they have been living abroad for 10 years or more. Once they submit that to us, the process takes 2 weeks in which they get back a response. And then they pick up their letter in Belmopan, and that letter is used at the port of entry, whether they ship the items or whether they come by road. So it's very easy. But a
How
lot of
long?
people reach out to us for that program,
How long do you have to be living abroad to qualify for this
10
program?
years or more.
10 or more. Yeah. And it's a one-time thing. You can't.
it's it's a one-time thing, and it's only if you're coming home to stay. It's not if some Belizeans right now they're coming home building a home, and believe that if they can apply to the program to bring the stuff for the house, but it doesn't really work that way. It's if you have decided to come home and stay home, then you qualify for the program.
We get a lot of
What's
complaints
the
about.
difference on that?
Hold on. Go ahead.
Excuse me.
I said, what's the difference if you're building a house and you're furnishing it? It shows
Because they're
intent.
not staying home. Some people are not coming home to stay. They're just building a home and coming and going, coming and going. They haven't decided to stay home. The program is solely
Okay.
for those who are coming and staying
But
home.
but I don't see how you make a determination of that. If I mean, stay. Most people that lives in the United States, they will continue to live in the United States and probably in Belize for some period. So it may be you live there for 6 months or 8 months, and you come here because you have relationship and family and doctor visits and different things that may still require that you share your time. So I don't see how that would be of benefit to most Belizeans. Most people don't just pick up and leave and not break all ties and relationship with where we have lived for 30, 40, 50 years.
Eh,
Well,
Well,
it would be alarming to you, but a lot of people are actually coming home. A lot of Belizeans are actually taking advantage of their program and staying home.
yeah,
I
well,
see.
this
this
is
would
true.
be uh, this would be an incentive also for people to do that, right? To come back.
Yeah,
That's what it is, an incentive for to come back
exactly.
home
For
and
them
live.
to come home.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a big problem with that. I would I believe, and let me welcome Joe to the program. Joe Cowie, folks, you guys might be you know him. The problem we get a lot, the complaints I hear mostly are about land and the difficulty people have in acquiring land and even buying land and being protected from fraud because apparently there are people at home taking advantage of people abroad. Do you get complaints about that? And is there any program in place where you address some of these matters?
We do get complaints of fraud, land fraud. But what we do, we advise them as to what they have to do to make that report of the land fraud. And once they come and make the report at the police department, then they actually look into the whole land fraud for them. But the only thing with that is you can send in your email and everything about your land fraud, but you have to come home to make that report in person at the police department in Belmopan.
Mario Lara wants to know how you enforce people staying home because people should be free to travel. I don't think.
No, it's not like you enforce them to stay at home because they can still go to the States.
I would think
It's
so.
just that
it's
just that it becomes their primary residence.
Correct.
Being back
Correct.
home. And Sandra is right. There's so many people that are doing that now, and so many people that have been wanting to do that. And now they have an incentive to do it. And like Sandra said, we have a lot of people coming back home, and it's just that it becomes your primary residence, but you are free to travel.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Well, you both know my case has been very interesting with this whole returning back to home. I've had a disastrous experience, which I'm not going to discuss today. But what about young people like myself, for instance, that want to come back home? I am not of retirement age, but there is this retirement age restriction to come back home, which is capped at 45. Will that be changed anytime soon?
Is there such a requirement?
Well, so Sandra, I think Lisa is talking about the QRP, the Qualified Retirement Program.
That program is not for Belizeans. That program is for foreigners.
No, but the one for people, I hate to call myself diaspora. I think it's a degrading word for me specifically, simply because I have close connect ties to Belize in itself, and I'm there all the time. I don't want to be considered other than, but I do remember when I was doing my returnee program, that was one of the restrictions. I was not over 45, and it's not only on the QRP. I remember it on the DRIP application as well.
That you needed to retire to become a part of the program?
So I think part of the application was saying that you could live out of the United States, that there's different requirements that you have to meet. And one of them was this age restriction. So I just wanted to clarify, for people like myself, some of us came to America very young. Some of us come here to
No, but Lisa, let's get it clear, because I don't know that there is such a restriction.
There is.
The DRIP application that we administer at the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations does not have an age limit.
Okay, so that's what I was asking. So for people like myself who are under the age of 50, we can go home after 10 years without
Yes.
any restrictions.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. So, I hope that clears that up, because that would, to me, wouldn't make any sense. You have one 10-year period of living abroad and wanted to come back home. I mean, if you go there at 15 and you want to come back at 25, I don't see where it should be a problem, because the incentive is to get people to move back home.
Correct.
And we do need our people that are abroad, in particular, who have gathered in expertise and experience in other matters. There has been a brain drain. Now, the term diaspora, which of course we borrowed from the Jews, and a Jewish thing, but it just means that people who are living abroad. I don't see it as being derogatory in any way. It's just a matter of defining our people who are not at home and living abroad. So I have not heard much objection to the use of the word, and basically one of the first times I'm hearing it. And I don't.
Actually, I agree with Lisa. For a longest time, I did not use the term diaspora to describe myself. I just said a Belizean living in the United States.
Okay.
But it seems to have gotten enforced in some ways that I have now used it, but with prejudice, because I don't consider myself anything other than Belizean.
Are you living abroad?
Living abroad, yes.
Oh, you're living abroad. I mean, you're a part of the
But sometimes when they give you stuff, or they seem like they're giving you stuff that you're not entitled to, when you're in fact entitled to all the rights as a Belizean. And that's where I get off.
But you're quibbling here. What rights? Give me a couple of examples. What rights are you entitled to that you're not being given?
There are many rights you're not entitled to, and that some of them has to do with the constitutional right to go and participate in elected politics. That is one of the.
But have you read the oath that you swear before God in assuming an American citizenship?
That has nothing to do with my rights as a
lot to do
Belizean
with it
citizen.
because you're
It has
breaking the
nothing-
law.
that-
You're
let
breaking the
America
law
address-
if you.
Let America addresses their concern rather than Belize.
No. That is Belize's concern. It is in our constitution. That is our concern.
Is there any difference between an American in Belize right now that could run for president of Belize? Prime Minister of Belize? Is there any difference? Is there any difference between...
Is that person a citizen of Belize? There's a difference. Is that person a citizen of Belize?
Yes, they're a citizen of Belize. I'm a citizen of Belize.
You know, that a matter that we'll have to at some point get past. Any of you two ladies have any thoughts on that matter? Because is there any move to change the constitution to accommodate this request, which I don't agree with, and I will fight to the very end. I think it's not right. But I mean, that's
it's not right,
one person speaking.
But yet you have Guatemalan people from Guatemala.
What you're doing,
citizens that could be the prime minister.
It's a fallacy of argument called whataboutism. It's whataboutism.
No,
you're addressing one matter at a time, and I'd hate for us to get bogged down in that, because that's a matter that has been discussed ad nauseum. There are many people who
you asked me
are on
which
different
one,
side of that.
I gave you the one that causes the most gripe for most.
Which is, do you want to come home and run for office, Greg?
No, I have no such desire.
Then what's the problem?
Shouldn't deny it. We shouldn't deny it. It shouldn't be a
blanket. You have sworn to renounce your citizenship and anywhere that you were formerly a part of. You have renounced before God. I swear by God. And I don't want to, I can pull that up because I have it here.
Citizenship. It didn't say
yes, it is. Yes, it does. Let me,
it doesn't say that. It says that you're a citizen of America, but that's fine.
No, it does not. The oath is specific. The oath says that you do hereby renounce any prince, any protect. What is the term? And I really should have had that available because I figured it was going to come up. Sandra and Mrs. Murphy, is there anything in place to address this matter? I'm wrong on what Mr. Trapp is saying, that I am wrong on that point. What point am I wrong on, sir?
Dead wrong.
On what point? That you don't swear an allegiance to the United States and say that you will renounce any other allegiance that you have before taking that citizenship? Am I wrong in saying that? And it's unfortunate.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Can I comment at this moment?
Certainly. Please do.
I think we are having some problems in differentiating between the law and between what we perceive to be right or wrong. I will come back to the matter with the Retired Persons Act, which was being administered by the BTB, which lost a case because of their misinterpretation. But let me come to this present one. Do America allow dual citizenship?
Yes.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that they didn't. But Belize do allow dual citizenship, as you know, right? Belize does. We had amended the Constitution to allow for that. But from what I understand, America doesn't allow dual citizenship. So it may be right to say that once you are being nationalized an American, a U.S. citizen, you have to renounce other nationality.
Well, you renounce. Let me
renounce. Let's
call it renounce. Yeah, here's the oath. Here's the oath that you swear. I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty of whom or which I have hitherto been a citizen or subject. that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by law, that I will perform work of national importance.
That's fine. We don't have to go through the whole thing.
Hold on. I want to get to the point where it says, "So help me God." You are swearing an oath before God. What are you telling me?
Gentlemen, Mr. Chairman, allow me to come back to the point. I find problems in having discussions where we are not sure of the law, but we want to argue on it. My long-standing understanding of the American law, it does not allow dual citizenship. And that oath that you are referring to is in fact proof that they don't. They don't allow dual citizenship.
That's not true. You know that's not true in practice. You know that's not true.
Mr. Morrison, that's where we have the problem. Because you are telling me it's not true in practice. I am not talking about the practice. I'm talking about the law.
American go and list and rescue their citizens of Palestinian descent, of any descent, wherever they are, when they're American citizens, knowing that they're also Palestinians, Iranians, and all those other places in these current conflict zones. So we know that this is not a practice.
Because they are entirely American. When they become Americans.
Can I finish the point with Mr. Morrison?
Go ahead.
Are you saying it is the law or it is not the law? What the chairman read just now.
I know what the chairman read, and I know what the
chairman read just now was the law of the U.S. It's the law because you have to take that oath. No,
it's an oath that you swear by God.
Yes.
And that means nothing to you, Greg?
Mr. Morrison,
by God means
please let me try to understand what we are doing, man. Otherwise, we'll never get through these kind of discussions. You cannot confuse law with what you believe it ought to be.
It's not what I believe it ought to be. It's
what the chairman read just now is in fact a part of the law. America does not allow dual citizenship. No, that doesn't mean that there are many people with dual citizenship. There are a lot of Belizeans with dual citizenship.
Of course,
but the American government have not been enforcing their law. In Belize's case, we amend our constitution. We amended our constitution to allow for dual citizenship. So you can be an American citizen and also be a Belizean citizen. Okay. But the U.S. does not allow it by law.
Don't worry about what. Why are we worried about where America will enforce its law when it comes to the rights of Belizeans in Belize? What nonsense is that? We are saying America doesn't allow it, so we will not give you your rights as a Belizean.
No, that's not what we are saying, Mr. Morrison.
You know, gentlemen,
I am trying to get you to understand, to agree on something. At least we could agree on this.
I agree.
Can't we decide? Can't we agree on what is the law and what is not the law? Don't let us argue about that. If we don't know the law, we don't know it.
Greg, if you have absolutely no desire to run for office in Belize, why would you let
it is a right that entitles people.
It is not a right. In chapter 58 of the Belize Constitution, it says no person shall be qualified to be elected as a member of the House of Representatives who, by virtue of his own act. Now, wait, let me finish this. By virtue of his own act. Under any acknowledgement of allegiance, obedience, or adherence to a foreign state, is not covered in that oath that you
I'm talking
swear.
About an amendment of the Constitution to give us our just rights and protection under the laws of
That's not a just right. You have renounced that right, sir. Before God, you have renounced that right. And my bigger problem might be with the United States government. Because if they decide...
Mr. Chairman, please make a clear this point. Mr. Morrison, let
me finish. The United States may have cause at some point to address it with individuals. But in terms of the whole group of people that have dual citizenship in the United States, it has not been an issue. That is
you know
Mr.
what?
Chairman, just allow me to finish.
Yeah, but we can't spend a whole program.
No, that's why I will finish it now and I will withdraw. I think I will exit. What I want to finish with is this, simple this. Let us agree, Mr. Morrison, that what you are asking for is not the law, it's what you would like the law to be. And let us agree on that. But the way you are making it,
I'm not worried about you are focusing on American law. American law.
No, I'm not focusing on American law.
Well, can we focus on Belize law then?
The chairman made a point which is correct. No.
What is the point?
The point he made that when you become an American citizen, as members of my family have become,
I am saying
you
change the
have
Belize
to.
law. I'm saying change the
We will
Belize
come to
law.
Belize law now, man. Let me finish with the American law. The chairman is reading something to you which is factual. You cannot deny that. That's the American side of the law. Now, let me tell you about the Belize side of the law. We have amended our constitution to allow for dual citizenship. We do. But in allowing for dual citizenship, when it comes to want to be an elected representative, that is where you will have the problem.
And that's
Because
what I'm
of your
talking
dual
about.
citizenship.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, but what I'm trying to get us to agree on, Mr. Morrison, is let us agree first that it is the law. Now, if you say
The law of where?
The Constitution of Belize is saying what the chairman is telling you, and that's a fact.
And I agree with that. I'm not
So
disagreeing that.
therefore, why can't
There's
we
no
see the
disagreement with
argument
that,
as
Mr.
one?
Corey.
Yeah, Mr. Morrison, why can't then we begin to have a discussion as to how we believe we should justify changing the law? But don't confuse ourselves as to what is the law, is not the law. What the chairman is saying is the law.
I did not dispute the Constitution of Belize.
Okay.
What I have said and continue to say.
But gentlemen,
is that the
gentlemen, really,
Let me finish.
No, I don't care. You're not going to finish this because we have guests on the
Constitution
show.
of Belize
It is
what should be
unfair.
changed.
Oh man, how are you just manipulate the whole show for some selfish agenda that you have? You cannot do that. We have guests on the show. That is rude. Really, we need to. We're there for a specific reason, and we'd like to address that. That matter we could take up at another time. I will not stop fighting against that. I will tell you that for what it's worth. I really do not think that it makes any sense. If you want to come back and be involved in Belizean politics, renounce that renouncement and come back and reassume your citizenship fully here in Belize. That's all I'm saying. That's how I see that. But let's go.
Can I just end on this final note, Mr. Chairman, please?
Please
Mr.
make it
Morrison,
quick.
that section of the Constitution has only denied you of the right to represent yourself in a constituency, but it does not deny you of any other rights. That's the only one it does not allow you to do. But every other rights remain the same for all Belizeans.
Indeed. Now,
and that's the only one I take exception to, Mr. Corey and Mr. Chairman.
But it's the only one.
Yeah, that's the only one. You don't have anything to take.
Yeah. So I wish the discussion would have been on how can we justify making the change rather than taking it as if though it is not.
May I ask Mrs. Murphy and Sandra, have you found this to be an important issue that has been brought up on a regular basis? Is Ms. Marla, has that been an issue that you find comes up on often enough basis to address and to put emphasis on?
To be honest, we have been to several states in the US, and some people brought up about voting rights here in Belize, but it's not overpowering like land or renewing your passport or land fraud. It is there, yes. People do ask us about it when we travel places to places, but not like the other issues that they're facing in terms of paying for their land or renew their passport or getting a social security card. Even
which are the issues that you guys can more address, because
Yes.
this one is a legal matter. So I imagine Joe is perfectly right. They'd have to advocate for changing the laws. I don't see that being done that easily, because again we're dealing with two governments and two different policies here. We can change ours, but if they don't change yours, and this is definitely the oath that is taken by new citizenship. Somebody said it's only by refugees, but no, it is all new citizens take this oath when accepting citizenship of the United States. I know I have family members.
But can I highlight a point here, Mr. Morrison? Allow me to highlight a point in America. Do you know that there are certain elected office that if you are not an American by birth, you cannot run for?
Certainly,
The
president
of the United States. You can't run for president unless you are American by birth.
I understand that, and we all.
And that's all right. You understand that, but you don't understand. See, Belize on a small
But you're not
nation.
denying. You're denying Belizeans by birth citizenship the right to participate in elected politics in the National Assembly. So it doesn't
No.
anyway equate to what you're saying, Mr. Colley.
No. I was not trying to equate it. I was simply trying to bring out a point that when some countries, when it comes to elected offices, they have some discrimination on them. Because
you're discriminating against birth Belizeans.
You're a citizen. You're a citizen.
But again, we're belaboring a point that is not getting us anywhere.
You are a citizen of a country either by birth or by adoption.
I have to.
You can become a citizen of a country.
If I may
by birth or by adoption.
One second, please. Yeah, go ahead, ma'am. You are the guest.
So Sandra is right. Actually, we do get a number of people that ask about voting rights, but I think they also understand it's not something that goes through the diaspora relations unit, right? That is, like you said, it's, has to do with the laws and the Constitution. So that really doesn't flow through our department or our unit. And then also, for those that are interested, there is the PCC, the People's Constitution Commission, where they were actually doing a survey where they were trying to get feedback from the diaspora to understand what the issues are with the diaspora. What are the big issues that they're having, especially when it comes to the laws, to the Constitution, to voting rights, to that sort of stuff. So hopefully most people were able to get a copy of that survey, fill it out, and return it back, so that, because with those surveys, that's where the Constitution, the People's Constitution, what is it called? The PCC, where they're gonna then be able to provide that information to those who can actually make a difference. And this is why it's so important to get the diaspora involved in, many different areas in the country. People, people want to voice their opinions, or they complain about certain things, but really this is the time. Certainly with this survey, for example, to be able to voice your opinions and really make a difference. Somebody mentioned just now that the survey was on hold. I'm sorry, I didn't see who it was, but
it was, yeah.
Right. So
I was going to ask you about that, yeah, because it hasn't been active recently.
Well, so I actually just spoke to one of the individuals who's part of the PCC, and he mentioned to me that they actually, or I should say, he didn't say anything about the surveys being on hold. So if it is, I apologize. I'm not aware of that. But like I said, I spoke to an individual that's part of the commission, and I think this was maybe 2 or 3 days ago that I spoke to this individual, and he said that they did receive quite a number of surveys back, that they did get a lot of feedback. So I'm not sure where they are in that process, but I know that they were trying to get feedback from the diaspora to see what needed to be done to make changes.
Sorry, could you just tell me? Sorry, I wasn't in the phone. What is this survey about? What are they?
The survey basically asks, what it wants. They just want to understand with the survey what issues the diaspora are having. For example, voting rights, right? A lot of people have that issue. A lot of people have concerns about that. And it's on the survey. That's where they wanted that information to be written, so they can see how many people are having issues with that and how important it is for the diaspora overall. Not just voting rights, but I think there were other things on there in regards to the law and the Constitution and that sort of thing. Like I said, I spoke to an individual a few days ago who was part of that commission, and he told me that they did receive quite a lot of feedback, but he didn't say anything about the surveys being on hold. And so if it is, I do apologize, but
may I say something here? Because see, people in the United States who live abroad and yes are able to vote also have to pay taxes. Even when they're abroad, and any money they make, maybe we could collect taxes from Belizeans abroad and all the money they make, and then we could work something out. What do you think? Maybe let's look at it from that angle. How about that? Anyway, just to
I think that the lady I think I got your name just now. Miss Robinson. I think you are on the right track in the sense of the timing. That whatever is it that you feel you are not being entitled to as a Belizean with dual nationality, the appropriate time is now, because this is when we are doing a review of the Constitution. So I think it is the right time for you all in the U.S. to come together and make a representation and seek to justify your proposal.
Sandra is in Belize. Sandra is in Belize. So
yeah, this is the right time.
Yeah, Sandra. Well, they're both one is Sandra, one is Sanya. It's kind of confusing. All right. Yeah, but seriously, now as far as the land issue, because apparently a lot of people are also very interested in that. Are you guys? Do you have any connection with the land department? Can you say maybe go into the lands department and say, listen, we have some people in the diaspora having some issue with some land here. Can you give us some information? Is that is that a part of the service you can provide?
What we do when they reach out to us about land issue, we would refer them to the contact person that we have in place at that ministry that address their concerns. That person is Amber Sosa. She is the person at the lands department that deals directly with any issues that members of Belizeans living abroad may have.
Does she answer the phone?
Have that contact.
Does she answer the phone? Because that would a big part that we have.
You just need to send an email to her, which is Amber AMBER.Sosa at naturalresources.gov.bz.
Guys, are you listening to that? You want to take that down? Repeat that for me, please, slowly, and Sandra, so we'll get that. Amber
AMBER.SOSA at naturalresources.gov.bz.
Can you also apply to her for through that process? Also apply for land.
Whatever issue you have regarding land. I must mention here that I don't know which part of the state you're living, but there's going to be a land clinic in Los Angeles, June 8th, 19th
to the 22nd,
where members of the lands department are going from Belize to LA at the Diaspora Summit, where you can apply for your land or solve any land issue you may have. It's a 3-day land clinic.
Do you foresee that posing any problem? Because first of all, now there are now, when we look at the other side of this, people that have lived in Belize all their lives fighting to try to get a piece of land, and then the diaspora comes in, or people from the diaspora, and get first preference and get land when the Belizeans here at home can't. So can we have another issue here?
It's not like that.
Can I come in here, Mr. Chairman? I happen to be familiar with the program that will be done in the U.S. And it's only an extension of what they are doing in Belize presently under the new minister, Cordell Hyde. He's doing exactly that already in Belize.
Correct.
They're having clinics where he takes a team throughout the country. Yes. And it is there all land matters can be settled. And I think that it has shown the thousands of lands that have been cleared with titles. So I think the job, I must commend the minister, Hyde. I think it's a great job. So what he's doing now, he's looking to extend it beyond Belize to the diaspora in the States. So I think I think the lady there that you named, I hope that she was quite efficient in her response, because I find her to be very efficient. I have dealt with her already. But she's the right person, I think the minister has appointed to do that.
See Deidre shaking her head. Have you spoken to her, Deidre? Have you had communications?
This is the first time I'm getting Ms. Sosa's email. I have not had communications with her, but I have been trying to reach the lands through other emails provided. But I do appreciate that email address, Ms. Mahler.
And just so I may interject here, if you are planning to go to the summit in June in LA, it's extremely important to register or to Sandra, help me here. I guess you have to call for an appointment or register to be able to do the lands.
Correct.
Right, because they're only going to be able to accept so many people a day for the lands clinic. So you want to go ahead and register, get your name in there so that you'll have an an appointment.
Any
so to speak.
any idea at all where this land is going to be located? Where that they're planning on?
At the LAX Marriott.
At the LAX,
No,
yes.
no. I'm thinking that
No,
the land that they're giving out is for Belize, because apparently Belize City is just about distributed there already. No,
that
but
information has not been shared with us as yet.
I wish they would look at some of those vacant lots that are around, so abandoned property and whatnot. And if somebody has the wherewithal to build, I mean that would help to develop the city a lot and clear up some of these derelict buildings. No.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
my
I'm hoping it's wherever you request you want a piece of land, and not them telling you where they'll give you a piece of land. I guess you could
Okay, that interesting. I don't know. Yeah.
This is new information for me. I thought that this lands clinic had to do with us who had issues in the diaspora and are paying or who have paid for our land. I didn't know that the ministry was going to be giving land to Belizeans. Is that correct?
You could make title. You could request. Yeah.
It's not giving a land, in the sense of.
I think it's an application to request.
No, it's
for
an
a piece of land.
application to purchase or to lease. It's not giving away land. They're not giving away lands in the lease right now.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought you could make a request for land, not giving away.
Yes,
but
it's
you
an
could
application to buy.
Apply,
or
it's
to
an
lease.
application.
to purchase.
But
Yes.
for my own edification, I heard someone mention when I was entering the show about fraud being committed in Belize with lands with people in the States. What was these type of frauds? Land fraud, you said?
Deidre, you might be able to address that. Have you had? I
Yeah.
think Tessa had an issue with that too.
Yeah, and I do want to say that coming on the show last week, both Ms. Tessa and I received phone calls from external people who had the same issues, and they also know people who had issues. So essentially, there are companies set up in Belize that are saying that they're agents to sell real estate. And a few of us in the diaspora, in addition to Americans, have made land purchases, giving our cash to these companies. Coming to find out, these companies did not have the right to sell land, or these titles were not cleared. And some people have lost upwards of over $100,000 US within these transactions. And those titles are still in jeopardy. There have been some agents who were killed behind it. I won't mention the company's name for legal reasons, but it's still going on within Belize. With that being said, I just want to make sure that the lands clinic for our viewers, people who have these sort of issues with title, they have receipts from these companies, but they have not been issued the title because there's something wrong with the title. Will the land clinic address those issues at the Diaspora Summit?
From what I understand that you said just now, it not seems to be a problem with the government per se. It seems to be with the private sector. People who are posing as if though they are in the real estate business, selling land. Now, to address that issue, they have the Financial Services Commission Act, a new act that came out. And under that act, all parts of the financial sector will be regulated now, where they have to be licensed. And among them will be these real estate agents. They will be regulated now by the Financial Services Commission. Now, we know that there were some big scams in Belize. And of course, that was one of the biggest cases in America when it comes to the Secretary of Trade. And that matter, as you know, at least it took down one of the international banks in Belize. The International Atlantic Bank went under because they were found to be complicit with the people who were defrauding Americans and Belizeans, claiming that they were selling lands with a big scheme. But it was a big scandal. But it cost, for the settlement made by the International Bank, that is the arm of the Atlantic Bank, they had to settle for over $25 million. And that was just not to go to the court. So that was a big one. We know about that. But again, it was the private sector. So I think under the Financial Services Commission, now they will be having some very stringent regulation that they will not be able to practice these things unless they are registered.
Yeah, registered, and so we could verify a way of verifying their registration so that we can know that when we're putting money with them, we're putting it with reputable organizations.
Is there any way
Yeah.
you think that you guys think that the diaspora units can help the um the two guests that we have on in a matter like that? It seems to be that one person to agent problem, and I don't know, Miss Marla, is there any way that could be addressed?
Well, I know we had did some research for Deidre when she contacted our office about it, and when we contacted the police department, they had shared with us that um, these individuals who were fraud or claim to be have been fraud need to come in personally to them to make the report, and have supplied the officer's name and email and phone number and everything where they should go. So I did get those information from the police department in regards to reporting land fraud.
What I
Okay.
believe could have been happening in those land frauds that you're referring to, evidently they were not being done by people who understood what it was like in the real estate business. You should never sign a purchase agreement unless you are satisfied that the seller is in fact a natural or legal person and has the authority. And there are certain documents that are required for both companies and individuals for that to be seen before the buyer signs the agreement. So I think what may have been happening, unfortunately, there were some of them who were innocent and they were naive. They didn't understand the caveat emptor in doing these transactions that the buyer had to be beware of. And that is how I think some of these scams were being carried out. Because the person, like maybe in the States, Belizeans, or it could be Americans, anyone, they did not understand the requirements under the purchase agreement.
No. Mrs. Murphy, are there any offices in other city except Miami, where Belizeans could abroad can contact representatives from Belize?
Well, we don't have any diaspora relations unit offices, but we do have our embassies and consulates, and that really is as far as it goes. But in terms of the diaspora relations unit, no, we don't have other offices.
May I ask a question, please?
Go ahead.
And this is for Miss Sandra and Miss Murphy. Regarding the police reports, I remember at least last 10 or 15 years ago, we as Belizeans were able to go to the consulate office to make a police report with them. They stamp it and sign it off and then send it to the police department in Belize. Is that still a practice today?
As when I spoke with the police department, I was told that the person have to come to the Belmopan office.
So obviously that service does not exist.
Yeah.
There was a service.
Asking
There was
if-
a service in Los Angeles, and I can say this again for certain during the period that I was in government.
Mm-hmm.
And you had a gentleman there by the name of Mr. Rai Young.
Correct.
Yes.
He was the honorary consul,
Mm-hmm.
and his remit and responsibilities were expanded and clearly defined that it was to give all the support to Belizeans. So it was not just a normal type of consular services, that deals with your immigration rights and whatnot. But it was to do with all matters concerning Belizeans in America and in connection with Belize. Though I don't know what has happened to it since, but it was working fairly well under him when he was there.
That is true, Mr. Koi, because I remember very clearly when I was growing up, even into a young adult, my grandfather made several reports, police reports, with his signature and stamp, and he forwarded that information to Belize when he was a representative at the consulate office in here in Los Angeles. So yes, that is correct. So I was just asking if that service has been removed from the consulate office today as we speak.
That would be interesting to find out, because I visited when I was in government 1 or 2 times. And I can say this, where you have embassy, for example, the Belize embassy in Mexico. So this was not an embassy, it was just an honorary consul, but it was better financed. And the responsibilities were far broader. It was financed by the then government to make sure that Belizeans were properly attended to in the States. That is, those in the Los Angeles area and in that. So that office was well established in terms of human resource and financial capital. But again, I don't know what happened to it since.
Yeah, and this question is for Ms. Murphy and Ms. Mahler. Can we advocate for that service again for the diaspora?
That's right.
Because I had to purchase a plane ticket. I now have to go to Belize to file my police report and handle the matter. But it would be nice if we had a service that we can file the report from abroad.
I don't know if you want to wait long enough for that, because imagine in Belize it takes a long time.
Yeah, and it's not just for my situation, but going forward, so that we
Yeah.
have an arrangement set up.
I see Mario Lara
I think no, but I think that's an interesting idea, and it's something I've just made a note of it, and certainly it's something I would look into to see what our options are and what the possibility is for being able to do such a thing. I know, like Sandra said, you know, she was told that you have to go in personally at the police station in Belize, but you know, it's certainly something to talk about, right? Because that's part of what I do, is certainly to bring ideas forward to the minister and just see what the possibility is of instituting these things, right? When we started the Diaspora Relations Unit, one of the things we wanted to do was have a dedicated person, for example, at the Lands Department, to a dedicated person for the diaspora. And so there are always things like that that we're working on, that we're trying to put in place for the diaspora, so they have, you know, dedicated persons, you know, in different ministries, for example. Now, I'm not saying that has happened in all the ministries, but it's always something that we're working on and we're trying to see how we can make happen. You know,
one of the questions I want to ask is, Ms. Tessa was asking if the clinic would be expanded to other countries, maybe like the UK where she resides.
I think, if I'm not, well, this is the thing, the clinic that's happening, or at least the summit that's happening now, it's specifically for LA, and I believe it's the first one that they're doing. So they would, you know, it would be up to the Belize Diaspora Summit to decide, that organization to decide.
So it's not necessarily a pilot project, it's just something that they're doing, and from then they will decide whether they'll do more.
Right.
Will it depend upon the reception they get?
Possibly. You know, again, that's run by the Belize Diaspora Summit organization. So, and that's separate from us. However, we are supporting that event, but it is put on by a different organization.
My suggestion to you all would be to reinstate what was there before in terms of the honorary consul in LA. And then we also had started it in Miami, which was doing pretty good. And then because of New York, we were taking the embassy in New York, where we had an embassy for the reasons we all know, and also do the extension of that to service Belizeans, because those were the highly concentration of Belizeans abroad. So the minister will not have to repeat this kind of going over to LA to do clinic with land. I think it is only to try to get over the concept of wanting to get the diaspora, of course, to be able to service them as Belizeans. But I think the way to go is to restore the concept of the honorary consul, expanding his office beyond the normal immigration type things as it was, and do the same, because Miami, it was also being duplicated in Miami and in New York through the embassy, because we had an embassy there. And I think that is the way to go.
Yeah. You know, the thing is that many people who go abroad get used to a certain level of service. The biggest frustration would be the level of incompetence that we have with people on the ground here in Belize, because there's just a difference in the attitude and the way things are done. And I believe what we should be working at more is trying to insist that people do the job that they're getting paid for. many times they don't, and this is more important even than who runs for office or who becomes leader and all of that. But how do we get people to perform the jobs that they are being paid for? That's the biggest challenge.
But it is, Mr. Chairman, because you can recall the former Prime Minister, Minister Barrow, said that the Lands Department was a hotbed of corruption. And I believe it was a hotbed of corruption.
I don't think anybody doubted. The question is, has that changed? Have we now have a cooler bed of corruption?
My experience and my knowledge is that it has not been as it was. There has been some changes for a fact. In fact, the changes start even before the change of government, when the then Prime Minister, had to have the minister removed from office. Because he was the ringleader in the problem.
Yeah, of course, it depends on who you speak to, because there are people now that are still having difficulties. I guess you're not going to make it a perfect system. We're going to solve everybody's problem.
Yeah,
I do want to say something.
To me,
sorry,
it's not where it ought to be, but it's on the way, at least improving. No,
right,
I'm not saying it is where it ought to be.
Go ahead, Deidre.
I do want to say something. The customer service in Belize is very good if you can get someone on the phone. But I'm dead serious. Every department,
if you can get them on the phone,
you can get them on the phone, very friendly, courteous. They can teach the U.S. a lesson. But what is lacking is giving these people the tools so that they can do their job effectively, or dedicating someone to answer the phone or answering emails. I just wanted to say that because the people, we do have the talent in Belize. It's just making sure they have the right tools to do their job.
We're doing a great job.
I really thank you and appreciate you for saying that, because we are not all that bad, but certainly we need some improvement.
Yeah, certainly we're not all that bad, but I don't know if maybe when I hear your accent, but when I hear mine, I don't get the same response. I'm sorry. I wish we could do better, but the level of incompetence is appalling. And as a Belizean, I say that, and only with the hope that at some point we'll be able to improve it. Now, if we keep thinking that we're doing all right, then maybe we don't need to improve anything. I certainly believe that we do.
We do have courteous people and knowledgeable people, like Deidre says. We're expanding tremendously on our call center business in Belize. So it's not that the talent is not there. We just need people that will be able to act and to respond and have the knowledge and the ability to execute when we call them, and most importantly, answer the phone.
From your lips to God's ears, right? Let's hope we get it done. I want to say though.
Oh, sorry, Chairman.
No, I just want to say how grateful I am for the guests to come on, and how good it is to know that there's something in place to try and bridge this gap between Belizeans at home and Belizeans in the diaspora.
Commendable.
Very much so. I really don't like the idea that this is one sticking point that we can't seem to get over. And the funny thing is that most of the people who are fighting for this right to come in here and run for office don't want to run for office, and that's an interesting thing for me. Go ahead, Lisa. You were saying
you went back to it, but I was
I did.
I was going to ask Ms. Murphy if she will be traveling with the team when they come on June 8th for the Diaspora Summit.
Yes, I will be there.
It'll be a pleasure to meet you. I'll make sure I attend.
Wonderful.
Are you coming to Ms. Marla?
Yes, we'll have a desk there for 3 days. So that we can service Belizeans living abroad.
Then it'll be a pleasure to meet you.
In addition to that summit, I just want to mention that we will be at other places just in case you guys want to reach out to us, or Belizeans abroad want to reach out to us. On May 18th, we will be in Houston at the Belize Fun Day. That organization have a fun day every year, so we try to participate because at that event we meet over 200 Belizeans or more. On June 1st, we're heading to London, where we are We're hoping to meet over 300 or 400 Belizeans out
That
there.
answers the question for Miss Tessa.
Indeed, indeed,
Yes.
indeed. So they is
But
this
it's not a
It's not.
summit.
It's
It's
not
not
a
a
clinic.
It's
summit.
not a summit. It's
Right.
Oh,
the Diaspora Relations Unit reaching out.
it's
So
a
it will be
consultation?
our minister, correct? It will be, we're hoping to have other ministers join us to answer the questions like land minister. Other ministers will be invited, but we don't know yet who will confirm to go. But I know Minister Mahler will be there.
Right.
let me
Um,
ask you a question.
And
Let me
it's
ask
a
you a question.
gathering.
One of the big concerns people moving back to Belize have is the healthcare system. Is there anything that they're doing actively? I know they're building some hospitals in San Pedro and some places, but there's anything actively within your sphere of organization that kind of start to look to address some of those issues with the state of our healthcare?
Yes, indeed. We'll have Ambassador speak, answer that because she is fully involved with the healthcare sector.
Well, I wouldn't say fully involved, but I know that there's a lot going on with healthcare, and I know they're making strides from, certainly where they started to where they are today, and I know a lot has happened. But one of the things that we have also, there is an organization called Build Belize Inc. I am the chair for that organization, and what we do is we empower and improve the lives of Belizeans through health, education, and service, and assist the Belizean diaspora with the socioeconomic development of Belize. So one of the things that we do is we are a conduit, if you will, in assisting the Belizean diaspora in bringing donations home. So one of the things we always hear about is, all the taxes and custom duties and shipping, how expensive it is when people are trying to help, the country, trying to help people at home, but it's so hard to get donations home. And so that's one of the things that we do. And the reason I bring that up is because right now we have a donor who is someone who is donating close to $2 million US in hospital equipment, which is home already. We're actually doing the handing over ceremony next week. And so we have really, with the Build Belize Inc. organization, it's a nonprofit, it's a 501c3 nonprofit organization. It's separate from the government, but we do work with the Diaspora Relations Unit, for example, because a lot of our goals are aligned and we can assist each other. Since the organization really, most of the members of the organization, the board of directors are here in the US. And so the Diaspora Relations Unit assists to, they do the work on the Belize side. But I know that healthcare has always been an issue and a lot of people ask about it, but truly they have been doing amazing work. They have come a long way. I know a new health center has been opened in Placencia. We're getting donations with amazing hospital equipment like this one that's coming in. So I think, they're continuously improving with the healthcare system.
Can I mention what I believe is outstanding in terms of the healthcare system that the present government has done? The NHI. They are now rolling out the NHI across the country. That to me is one of the most substantial improvements, apart from infrastructure in terms of clinics and whatnot. But the rolling out of the NHI was much overdue, I must say.
Yeah, of course, that has nothing to do with the diaspora and people coming in from abroad, because they are not qualified for that, right?
Of course they are to get its healthcare services.
No, healthcare services there, but I mean, for NHI, you have to be registered with the NHI clinic, the NHI program, to be a part of that. Yeah, am I not correct? So
yeah, you have to register.
So maybe the diaspora unit can get people registered from over there, if you'd like to do that. No.
So you register you register in the zone where the TCP is for your area.
That's correct. That's correct.
So that's what I'm saying there. So now most people from the diaspora, if I may so say, when they come down, they tend to go to the upper end places, the healthcare center, if you will, the healthcare partners, what's the other one, the medical associates, etc. But these are not the clinics that are covered by the NHI, correct? You have any information
But
on that?
people could go to the NHI and make whatever their payments are. And
what happened? Medical associates and healthcare partners provide services through the NHI.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you have to be registered with the NHI.
Yeah, you have to be registered in the zone
and
that
you
you
get
are.
for the primary physician would be from your area.
Yeah, because it's through the PCP, the primary care provider.
I believe on a future date you could maybe get somebody from the healthcare area, no? But I don't know how much how much the diaspora can benefit from that at this point, unless we're gonna extend it to include the diaspora. But
no, I'm talking people when they reside, when they move to Belize.
Well, that's a different matter. When you go in a certain area, then you just register in that area. Yes, in the excellent service, I'll tell you that it certainly has eased the burden, the financial burden, and many people who are now depending on the healthcare services. No.
Well, I can say this for the diaspora. When I was Minister of Health, the diaspora contributed tremendously to the health in this country.
They continue to.
Tremendously they did. And let me name quickly. In the dialysis center they did, because they had programs set up. I remember in the case of LA, they did a lot of financing to Belize. And then through the University of the University of California, I think it was, some Belizeans hooked us up with the university, and they were assisting Belizeans to the point that they were able to do what they call online service to Belize. So I would say this: during my time and the visit I have made to New York and to Los Angeles, the diaspora was extremely helpful in the health system.
I think nobody will argue that the diaspora has been a big help to Belize, very important part of Belize, and I really believe that we have to do something to bridge the gap. I think there should be a representative from the diaspora in the House of Representatives or in the Senate, and I think that would be the answer. But that is somebody that would be elected in the diaspora, of the diaspora, for the diaspora, coming to Belize and fighting for diaspora rights here in government. I think that's the answer to that. But then what do I know, right?
I like that one, Mr. Chairman.
What
it sounds like you were defining democracy by and for and of the people.
Yeah, anyway, Sonia Allen says it seems that it's okay for the diaspora to volunteer money or services but not vote. How do we get here? We go back to that again. We have to. There's somewhere we'll have to work that out. And again,
it is a sticking point, and it is a concern. When the diaspora contributes so much.
Would you agree to pay taxes and
we are paying taxes? We are paying taxes, and many people in the diaspora own property in Belize.
Oh, but you pay taxes on the property. You're not paying taxes. Well, maybe you could pay taxes on whatever income you make, because that's why
people in the diaspora contribute over $300 million.
That's not a question here. That's not a question here.
It is how we contribute. It is the method by which we contribute. We pay taxes, and we receive nothing for those benefits. And we are asking for some of the most simplest things that are
like what?
To be provided for all its
Hold up. Simplest thing like what? To run for office? Is that a simple thing to you, sir?
That is a simple thing. But some of the other thing is protection when we make investment in Belize. That there's
that is understandable, and we're trying to work that out. We'd like to see.
Those are some of the things. Those are some
deserve
of the
that. Yes, everybody deserves that. I agree with you.
Those are some of them. Some of the harder ones are the asking for representation rights I
thought you said that was a simple thing. I thought you said that was simple. Anyway, tell the GOB to get it together. I don't know in what way you want to. I don't know. I think this is a part of getting it together. I really applaud again the effort to reach out to the diaspora, which has to happen. How are we going? Who's that?
It's Lisa. Ambassador Murphy, can you advocate for all of us that we are not asking for free services from any of the ministries in Belize? We are we are willing to pay for our services, and sometimes I wonder if that is also one of the reasons we can't get ahead, is that they feel this disconnection that we want something for free. The diaspora has never asked for anything for free. We've always been willing to pay for a service. So if it means for us to pay for a service in order to get our livelihood back on track, can that be advocated for us when you meet with them the next time?
I think we pay for a passport and we pay for everything we get. There's nothing that is given to us for free.
I think that's based on an assumption. Nobody, I don't know. You're suggesting that
They're
because
also
No, because they're
I
understaffed. Some of them is under, some ministries are understaffed. They don't
indeed
have that department. They don't have the
understood.
personnel to staff the department. So I'm just saying, if they could advocate and say, hey, listen, the diaspora is willing to to contribute financially for the services in order to get representation and representatives to facilitate our documentation. Why not?
I would want to
They,
make
they
a
do that. They do
suggestion.
that by charging us a fee in excess of the normal fee when we apply for our land papers. They do that when they charge us an excessive fee for our passports, which is a premium on what they're paying in Belize. So there's no need to add any more cost to what we're paying to get the service we deserve as diaspora, as Belizeans living abroad.
I would
Okay,
want to
with
make
your
a suggestion because I think the representation I see here and hearing from here tonight, it seems to me that you have the kind of temperament and the kind of approach that would help to build diaspora bridge. Our bridge must be built not on confrontation, but on horizontal cooperation. We must begin to see ourselves as one, wherever we are.
Stop calling me diaspora. Call me Belizean.
Fine. For Mr. Morrison, we will name him Belizean from tonight. He's no longer Morrison. So let's move on. Now, the point I want to emphasize, again, is to say congratulations to you all tonight. You give me the hope that that bridge can be built. And let us begin to think about the things first that are keeping us together. And then we will look at the ones then that we find difficult. I am confident, very confident from my years of experience. I spent about 40 years in government. Now, I am confident that we can build that bridge.
Yes.
The things that are seeming to be dividing us, we have put too much emphasis on them. When to me, those are not the things that should be keeping us apart. There are so many things that should bring us together. Let's use those first, and then we will deal with the other things. I don't see much differences among us, really. The most disconcerting thing, it seems, is the question of representation. And what more than that? But there are so many things we have in common. There are so many things that we can do together in trade, in
And
health,
we do.
in
And
education.
we do, Mr. Cowie. We do those
That's
things.
what I'm saying. Let us begin to dramatize the things that we have in common and the things that we are doing together. And once we can build on those, the things then that seems to be difficult, we will be able to overcome them. But we tend to want to put the emphasis into the things that are present.
No, I don't think so.
All right, fine. I'm sorry about that, Belizean.
And I would like to interject here. Remember that the unit it's a brand new unit, right? And so we have come a long way from when we started 4 years ago. We started this unit with really nothing. We had very, very little information about the diaspora, and everything we have today is what the unit has worked on, and we have gathered this information. It's gonna take time, but at least we've started, right? And so we just have to continue working together, continue sending in your suggestions and whatever issues you have and whatever you need help with, go ahead and send it into the unit, send it into the diaspora relations unit. That's what we're there for. We're there to support you. We're an information hub. You know, we're going to give you as much information as we possibly could. If we don't have something at hand, we will tell you where you need to go to get it. But that's what we're there for.
Do you have a website? you have a website for the
Yes,
diaspora?
absolutely, absolutely,
Okay.
Sandra.
And one more
CY,
question. Are
can you
there
put it up
other
on the screen for the audience? Sorry, Deidre, go ahead.
are there other ambassadors around the world, and who are they? Because some of our viewers are not just in the US, there's viewers in Canada and the UK as well.
No, it's just I am the only ambassador right now for diaspora relations, but what we're doing is we are actually now we're starting to move outside the US, and that's why our first meeting now outside the US is London, and then we will continue to move to different countries and provide just have meetings, town hall meetings, and getting the diaspora engaged. And really, the intention is to get the diaspora from all over the world engaged. It's not just the U.S., but everywhere, all over the world.
Okay.
I think one of the question is, are there some way of measuring the matrix of the success of the diaspora unit? Are you setting up some system to measure how you're responding to and successfully resolve issues and what those issues are for the diaspora?
Yes, and I believe Sandra can respond to this.
Yes, we do have a database of all the queries and concerns that come in and all the responses that we have provided that came to a resolution for members of the diaspora. We do have that. So what we've also started now is we have a post survey that we send out to Belizeans living abroad who has reached out to us for some type of service. When we're finished with that, we send it to them for them to fill it out to measure how we've done and how we can improve. So we do have KPIs that we use.
And we also have a registry which provides a lot of information. Once you sign up, you'll be able to see there's additional information you can get on the registry. But also what we're working on is, at some point from the registry, you'll be able to, for example, fill out your forms for Social Security, or if we have special promotions for diaspora, that will be a part of the registry. And so we always encourage everybody, please sign up for the registry, because you will then be able to get access to a lot more information and services that we're trying to put together for the diaspora.
Do we have an idea yet of how many people from Belize, how many citizens of Belize are living abroad in what we refer to as the diaspora? Is there a registry of any kind available?
So we're working on the registry. We really started with, I want to say 0, but we've done a really good job so far in collecting some of that information. But we're still, I would say in the U.S. we are estimating about 300,000 in the U.S. alone.
That much?
Yeah, that's a lot. That's almost as much as we have at home.
And
Yes.
yes, and it's when if you're gonna talk about the world, we probably have more outside the Belize than we do in Belize.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
But something I just want to make clear is that I guess the question then becomes, who's the diaspora, which has always been, something that we've spoken about, because people tend to have different definitions. For us at the unit, we're talking about Belizeans, of people of Belizean origin who live permanently or temporarily in another country, immigrants from Belize and their descendants, persons who have lived overseas and have since returned to their homeland, and nationals of other countries who have worked, studied, or otherwise resided in Belize and have an affinity for Belize. So our definition for diaspora is maybe a little more broad.
It's very broad.
What others might consider to be diaspora.
Can I get a clarification on the composition of that number? The reason why is something that I have asked about many times and we were never able to get it, because when we talk of Belizeans, we are talking about Belizeans of Belizean nationality. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if you are the child of a Belizean, who means that you're born over there, but you can become a Belizean by descent, but you didn't opt to do it, would you consider that person a Belizean?
For us, for our purposes, yes.
Okay, because
You're a
I
descendant.
understand that there are many like that, and it would be good for them to take on the right and to become Belizean, because of the next generation, they will lose it.
Yes.
So there are many of them, I understand, in the US that could become Belizean by descent, but they haven't opted to do it. And in the next generation that come, they will lose it.
That's right. And something interesting that happened, I just want to share this experience. When I was in California with this donation that's coming in, or actually it already reached Belize, this hospital equipment donation, and we were looking for volunteers to assist with packing up the donation. Most of the volunteers, most of the people that wanted to come out and help were a little older. And it was actually really hard to get the younger generation to come out, because so many of them are born in the US or very rarely, will come to Belize. That I don't know if they're not as connected, to Belize, or they don't feel as connected to Belize as, those of us who were born there, who went to school, the older generation, and I think it's so important now for us to start thinking about that and seeing how we can get, the younger people to really start connecting back home, even if they weren't born there, but they have some association to Belize, just their parents being Belizeans.
Very good idea.
Lisa was a very
I'd
big
like
part
to
of.
suggest that if you can do something to promote that idea by using you see, in the school over there, we would not be able to get them to teach Belizeans Belizean history.
Correct.
Now, in Belize, we were fighting for many years for Belizean to be taught African and Mayan history. What I think we need to do now with the Belizeans abroad is to get them to begin to read about the Belizean history, because we will not be able to teach them in the school. So find a way of how we can get that generation who wasn't born here but comes from Belizean to read about the Belizean culture and about our history. And I think that would be good too.
That is true. What I find, because I have children that are born in America, and they do participate, and they do have a great affinity for Belize, even though they were not born in Belize. My son and my daughter and them, they drive around with a Belize flag in their car, hanging from their dashboard, and my nephew and them too. So I don't know what it all is. They were born here. I don't have a Belize flag flying in my car, So it's not that they do appreciate the fact that they have this Belizean connection.
Well, I have an observation though, because again, we speak of the diaspora, the people living abroad, as if there's some cohesive unit. But of course, I have found out that they're basically just people living abroad in a splintered way. I was 20 years in the diaspora. I lived in New York, I lived in LA, I lived in Chicago for a while, I lived all over the US. And I find that there is no cohesiveness as such. Is there some move on the part of the diaspora to remedy that, to come together as one, as a unit, so that you can present your concerns?
There have been attempts to that in the past, but I'll say that the people in the diaspora are no different than the people in Belize in how they live and organize themselves. And in some ways, we are a little bit more dispersed because we don't have that always connectivity. We meet at social, we meet at funerals and things like that. And then if they're close family, then we meet at those occasions when we have some family event. So we do need, at one time we did have the Consortium for Belizean that was very active, that had events that kind of promoted a lot of Belizean activity and gave us a sameness of things. And
can we see something like that being revived?
I think it is possible. I think they'll have to change the dynamics of it because people have spread out even more. At one point, LA was the hub and you could do things in LA, but now people are in Palmdale, people are in Lancaster, people are in San Bernardino. I'm talking about Belizean people in California. And so I think if they organize it now so that they could create little more units, little chapters, like how you have the Kiwanis Club or the Rotary Club or things like that, within that you might have several in San Bernardino, several in Los Angeles, that people can reach reach there and not have to travel 40, 50, 60 miles to go to a meeting. It will require some rethinking on how those organizations are structured in these United States or wherever else they might be. But I think it is possible. I just think we need to, in those days we had some of the driving force at Dr. Pike, Professor Lang, and many others that were the stalwart and the pushers on that. I think we can build it back to something that serves the people of Belize and serves the people in the diaspora.
Right.
Yeah. We also have Zoom now, where people don't have to leave the comfort of their home.
That's true. That's
true. And the
technology
structures
does make a difference. Yeah.
Yes, the structure's already set for that group. So with the various chapters, so that would be fairly easy to resurrect.
And Mario has been putting some comments up. I have been reading that, Mario. I've not been responding to those because I think that I really want discussion for another time. I can have that argument with you anytime. I'm not afraid of the diaspora vote because they are going to outnumber that might be a part of the problem, is that if we have the diaspora vote with so many people influencing the elections at home but living abroad, there's something unfair about that, I believe. They say if you stir the pot, you need to lick the spoon. And
Mr. Chairman, I do agree with you with that. I do have concerns about the impact of election swing and that type of voting, but I do go back that I believe they should have the right to participate. And maybe the idea of a diaspora representative or a couple of diaspora representative office is a way, a assembly seat, House of Representatives seat, a Senate seat. Those could provide some of the legitimate coverage to assist in addressing some of the needs of the diaspora. So I don't have a problem with that. I do have concern about the fact of just voting in elections where it could make dramatic difference in the elected, who gets elected into the office.
There's certainly an argument that needs to be had, and we can have it at some point.
Well, I think it's a legitimate concern not to be against the diaspora or the people living abroad, because the truth about it, when you make a decision as to who to be your representative, and you are not around to face the consequences or to live the consequences, it's kind of could be unfair. So I think it's some legitimate concerns, but they are not hurdles that cannot be overcome.
Yeah.
The issue of
in the United States, people can vote wherever they are, and they elect a representative. But
and
in
the other
Belize,
whole saying, which I think that are some legitimate concerns, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they cannot be overcome.
Yeah.
Where they have this no taxation, no representation. And I think that came out of the US itself, during the period of fighting for their independence. So there are some legitimate concerns, but not to suggest for one moment that being legitimate doesn't make it insurmountable. It's an issue of, I think, taking again the things we have in common and let's build on those. And as
in
we
the
come
old days,
closer
they used to
together,
say you have to own property to vote. So maybe we go back to that in some respect.
Yeah, I don't think this would be the time to really try to figure that out. I think that we identify it as a concern, and we leave and we reflect on it, and the time will come and we should. And I think this is at the appropriate time because we are reviewing the Constitution. So this would be the appropriate time to bring forward these concerns, and let's begin to hear them out.
Well, I think we have the two ladies on the show tonight, and they're in a position now to answer the questions, you in the diaspora, as opposed, again, we shouldn't be quibbling over the little matters that we have no power to fix, but there are some things that we can bring up, some concerns that we have them here, we have them for another half hour. Let's make use of this time, no?
If the ambassador could find out for us and probably post it on her website some point, whether the Constitutional Reform Commission has somehow gone a little slow in terms of the relationship and the response that they were soliciting, that would be good to
You know, I had the opportunity to fill out that survey. It was pretty easy, very straightforward, question and answers. It asked questions for social matters, to judicial matters, um, uh, a lot of different things. And it also gave you an opportunity at the end, if there was something that, if you know, that was a very of much concern to you. And at least my response was the judicial, the judiciary system, and how it's how some of the laws need to be changed, and that was for me personally, because that's where all of where we are, all of our issues stems from how we govern ourselves in the country. So if some of those things are changed, or at least addressed from a law standpoint, I think we would be in a better position, even living outside of the country. But it was very straightforward. Like I said, I know my understanding, and this could be hearsay, that it was that the surveys have not gone out any further because of lack of funding, or in some sort of that. Like I said, it's hearsay to me. I don't know if it's true, but I haven't heard anyone recently filled out any more of those forms. But it takes maybe about 5 minutes to fill out. I think we outside of the Belize was considered zone 5. I think
yes.
that is our zone. Is that still am I wrong on that one, Ambassador Murphy? We're zone
Was it
5.
seven? Was it seven? Six, since we had 6 districts, was it 7? I don't remember if it was 5.
I don't know if it's I don't know
No,
if
no,
it's
that was, it
no
was
no
the north,
no
south, east, and west and diaspora. So I don't think it was districts as such.
no
Yeah.
no it has nothing to do with districts.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think it was just the
Okay.
way they were, the way the system sent out the
Okay.
survey. I
Okay.
believe my survey title was Zone 5. I don't know
Okay.
what that means,
Okay.
but I filled it out under Zone 5.
I will check it out for you, Lisa, and I'll let you know. Honestly, I can't respond to that, but I'm happy to check on it and I'll let you know.
Sure, thank you.
But certainly the effort is being made. It is a step in the right direction, I believe. I hope people take advantage of it, like these forums that you're setting up and these meetings all over the place. They come out, and many times we have these concerns and we don't voice them. So I mean, it festers in us, but you don't get no resolution because we don't address them openly, right? So we have to. I want to applaud you two ladies in the work that you're doing, and the courage for coming on and hang with us tonight. Um, this is your chance. Those in the diaspora, if you have anything else you want, let me read this comment by Mr. Christopher Broster. Hence, the constitutional reform was the opportunity to address certain issues in the constitution on how to better and strengthen the nation. But Belizeans are not showing interest, but the diasporans are the ones who are taking part. Really? I don't know. You're saying the diasporans are taking part in the constitutional reform and the Belizeans at home aren't? Because the meetings that we've had in Belize have been well attended. The concerns have been raised and some are being addressed. I imagine to the best of their ability. So I don't know that pointing fingers and throwing blame and whatnot is the way to go, but we just need to move forward. I would like to see definitely a better relation between Belizeans at home and those in the diaspora. The diaspora is a force to be reckoned with. We know that. They're a huge pool of potential. And those who are willing to come to Belize and live in Belize and help Belize, we in Belize should welcome them. I don't think, as most diasporas believe, that Belizeans all look at them as a cash cow. And I don't believe that all diaspora throw that remittance in our face, but some do, as if you know what, you have to really deal with us because we're giving you this and we're keeping you afloat. I don't like that idea. I don't like that operandi there.
I don't think people throw it in the face. People reminds others when they try to deny them some of their constitutional and judicial rights that we are not just lacquers. We are participants. We are actively concerned about Belize, and we put our money where our mouth is. That's it. But I wanted to ask you something, Miss Ambassador. One of my concerns is, or maybe I don't know how your involvement in this or how you think of this, but I'm always concerned about when we have national referendum. And I go back to when we had the referendum for whether we should go to the ICJ or not. I believe that those type of concerns that are so rich to the country and the well-being and the welfare and continued survival and integrity of our country should be such that they have diaspora involvement and not just the people that reside in Belize. On that type of issue, I definitely believe the diaspora should have been actively engaged and given an opportunity. And these things may come up again because we don't know what the court will rule and how Belize may have to make some further decisions in how to resolve and finally settle those. So I want to set the stage that if something comes up that from all of that and a referendum needs to follow whatever action the government may have to make, that the diaspora is also part of that engagement.
Of course, we'd have to have a registry of all the people abroad. I don't know that exists.
I'm just pointing it out to her so she could consult with her minister.
So, but that's what we're trying to do with the registry, is trying to get as many people as possible to sign up on the registry so we can get a better understanding of who's out there and how many people are out there. What I've learned is in our diaspora, we have every single profession you can think about. Okay, we have every talent, every expertise, every profession, everything that our country needs is in our diaspora.
Yes.
And this is why we talk so strongly about bringing your talents back home and sharing your expertise back home. You know, we talk about the customer service, how it's so bad, but think about this talks to the level of brain drain that we've had, and also what's available in our diaspora. Bring it back home. Bring the talent home. Our people at home still need to be educated in different ways. I'm a big supporter for our children at home, you know, and we need to be the ones to support them, to support our people in general at home. And I say we because I'm part of the diaspora as well, you know, and this is my way of giving back, and I try to do everything I can.
Do you consider yourself a diaspora or a Belizean? Just answer
I'm a Belizean diaspora, and I'm okay with it. It's just a word. I know what I am, and I am, you know, I am a Belizean at heart, no matter what, you know.
Madam Ambassador, I would like to maybe kind of compliment you on what you said, because sometimes we were complaining. Well, not complaining. Sorry, we were talking about the remittances, and someone did put up 5%, and my understanding from what comes is about 5% indeed. But when you look at the human capital, that to me is more impressive than that 5%.
I don't think it's 300 million is not 5% of 1.3
no, but it's
billion.
not 300 million. The last count was 80 million. That's why I think the 5% is correct.
No, the remittances are 300 million.
I'm telling you.
For 2023, 300 million.
Sorry, then I must be out pretty wrong.
You're very wrong.
No, I didn't know. I thought that the last.
But what percentage of GDP is it?
That's about 30% or 20%, at least 15%.
I don't think it's that high.
So I don't see that. So I don't see the remittance being that high in this. No.
1.3 billion.
No. I don't. No. The free budget is about 1.6 billion. Right, roughly the last one. I'm just giving you because it was
okay. So what percentage is that of that?
So if you take 10% of that, you're talking about 160 million. No, you are talking about what, 300 million?
Yes. 300 million Belize dollars. Yeah.
Anyhow, I won't argue with it. I will look it up.
It's the government publishing.
And that's official. That's
I have
That's the
the
official.
government
figures, right?
publish.
I
That's
have
the
the
government
official
publish. That
published
doesn't include
package.
barrels that are sent home.
Exactly. It
doesn't
doesn't.
include
So it's
truckloads of
actually more
stuff.
than
No,
that.
Yeah.
You
what they
know,
report is just the cash figure. Indeed, as the lady is
Yes.
saying, she's right.
Yes. Yes. Just
But
the
I'm
official
saying
cash figure
I am
the,
surprised to hear
that
that it
clears
is
through the
300
bank.
million. No, yeah.
you
Ms.
know
Smaller has the
But I
figures.
but I
Ms.
wasn't
Smaller,
emphasizing what I wanted to do. Even if it's 300 million, all right, we accept it. She knows the figures, so I will rely on what she said. The point I want to make: how do you put a dollar figure on human capital?
Oh, yeah.
And the point I wanted to emphasize was she raised a very important point about what they have to offer in terms of the trade and the calling and the professions. That to me could be of greater contribution to Belize.
well, obvious we need builders, and we need more builders than chiefs. More people helping to build Belize than to just run Belize, because that I believe is the more important part. We'd
And
like for
I
everybody
think
to contribute.
someone just added, so Miss Sandra could answer that. The Belizean that make tourism part of their yearly or regular contribution to the economy. We're great visitors and tourists in Belize.
I do have figures of the number of Belizeans who have come home in the past 4 or 5 years. In 2019, we had approximately 21,000 Belizeans coming home for a stay or more, a night or more. In 2020, due to COVID, it went to 5,000 plus. In 2021, it went down further to 4,000 plus. In 2022, it went up to 6,000 plus. And in 2023, that is when we saw the rise of Belizeans coming home, which amounted to 17,000 plus Belizeans coming home.
These are visitors.
Yes,
Belizeans.
Any
visitors, not
figures?
staying home,
Any
visitors.
figures and the number of Belizeans returning home to live?
Well, since we took over, we have approximately 200 Belizeans who came home to live.
Okay.
And that's because we took over the DRIP program from
Right.
what was it, Foreign Affairs. They finally handed that program over to us, and that was only when Sandra, like last year or like
2 years now.
2 years now. Okay.
Yes.
So you had about 200 coming home over that period or over the last year?
No, just since we start administering the program in September.
So 2 years.
Yeah, so like a year and a half going on 2 years.
And now
There
the
were so
incentive,
many
of course.
before. There were so many before that came home, but that was administered through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Foreign Affairs.
And the incentive now is to try to get more, of course, people to return home, correct? And live in
Correct.
Belize.
We want them to come home. We want to welcome them back home. That's why we have the incentive. We want them to bring their expertise home. So we want
Yeah.
them to come home.
Well,
So-
certainly, and the health program will be a part of it. They want to be able to address their concerns if any health issues come up.
Indeed.
So and again, the contributions we've gotten, and I believe Lisa was a part of that, getting those contributions of the medical supplies. Is that right, Lisa? Are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, and you had something to do with that, right?
I did, and I have to let me make this very clear. This is my time. I could big up Ambassador Murphy and her staff. I want to I personally want to give Ambassador Murphy and her staff a big thank you for advocating and navigating through this whole process as well, especially where finances were concerned to get these equipment to Belize. I know it was not an easy advocating, but as a woman, she stood tall, held her ground, and we were able to do this for an entire country. So I just want to say that that while she may not be able to fix everything through her department, she does advocate for us. She does have our best interests at heart. I have cried many a times on her shoulders with all my issues, but she's always come through for us. Miss Sandra and her staff as well. They put on a great show and great informative table when they come out to these town halls. I have been to the Houston and the LA unit when they come to visit, and they're very cordial. The ladies are they invest their time to serve us here in the different cities. So again, the unit is very small. I do commend them. I want to commend Minister Mahler for even having the idea to opening up this unit to us.
I would have preferred you say as instead of as a woman, as a Belizean. And you're saying as a woman, she stands strong.
Well,
as a Belizean, she has
as
stood
a
strong.
Belizean woman, there are not too many of us in positions that she holds. So it was, you know,
Actually, there's only
it
one.
isn't, you know, right. So it's not, I'm not trying to deflect from who she is and
I'm just saying, I mean, as a Belizean, she's working hard.
Yes,
yeah.
and as a Belizean, she's working tirelessly, and so is Miss Sandra. Miss Sandra sometimes can't even reply to her own family because her phone is going off all the time. Emails are over flooding, and they have a wonderful staff, including the secretaries. There's Viviani, there's Kalia. I mean,
and Kristen.
they have Kristen. They have an extremely well organized staff, and I don't want to diminish who they are as a unit and trying to do for us, but they do help us. I have had good experiences with the ladies, including the minister at hand. So I don't, so they are doing their work. They are doing their job. Honestly, they're
So
doing.
Sonia, do you get the cooperation from the government? Do they give you the respect that you need to get your job done?
Yes, I honestly, they've been really good. I haven't had any issues with them, and I really well, first of all, thank you, Lisa. That's very kind of you. But yes, I haven't had any issues, and the office, they've been wonderful. We have a great team at the office, and the only thing I'll say really is, if you don't hear from us, it's not because we're not, responding, like we're not getting to your stuff. Sometimes we get so overwhelmed, so you might just need to resend an email. Sometimes the email addresses are incorrect that people send to, the emails they send to us, the address is incorrect. So double check the address, make sure it's the right address, but somebody will definitely get back to you. I mean, we've answered hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emails and text messages and, just everything you can think about. But we have a really, really good team, and I only see great things, coming.
Are you working on a website?
We do have a website. We have a really good website.
And
give us the name of it.
Our website is BelizeDiaspora.bz. Okay. And I just want you all to know that our minister remains committed to fostering stronger relationship with all Belizeans, wherever they may be living. I know he recognizes that the contribution and successes of you all in the diaspora are invaluable to the country's growth and development. So I just feel like I need to say that, seeing that the minister is not here with us, but he really respects Belizeans living abroad.
Who's the Minister for Diaspora Relations? Is that
Minister Honorable Anthony Mahler?
Okay.
Okay. Can I now get a clarification on that same matter? You all are formerly a part of BTB, is that correct?
We're not. We are the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations, and it has two other branches that falls under us, which is the Belize Tourism Board and Border Management.
Yes, but what I mean, you are a part of the government.
Our unit, yes. The Ministry of Tourism.
But you come under the BTB, or do you come under the ministry?
Ministry.
The ministry.
We are the ministry.
Which ministry? Yes. All right. The Ministry of, all right, okay.
Tourism and Diaspora Relations.
Correct.
And then, so therefore, you are financed from the public funds, of course.
Yes.
Well, let me end on this note. I think you all are doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
You must go for it now and stay on track. I think you're doing very good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, the groundwork is laid. The groundwork is laid, so now it's just for building on that.
That's right.
And getting the cooperation from both Belizeans at home and Belizeans
and
abroad.
staying connected. That's very key too, to staying connected with all of them, with all our Belizeans abroad.
Yes,
Yes.
please,
Thank you very
please
much.
register. Please register so we know who you are, and this, this way we can make available to you everything that we have, at our disposal. It's going to be available to you, but we have to know who you are. So please register.
And
I just got a message requesting more information on the London event, the June 1st event. Can we get more information on that, please?
Well, the event will be held on June 1st. We are finalizing our venue this week, and then I can personally share all the information with Tessa, and it will be on our website and in our Facebook group as well. So I would advise her to join our Facebook group so we can send her the save the date information. But it's June 1st.
Thank you so much.
And we make the information available to everyone.
Right.
We're just finalizing details. So as soon as we're done with that, then the information will be available to everybody.
Thank you.
And I forgot to mention that August 4th, we will be in Chicago for the Chicago Belize Day. And we will also be in Las Vegas on September 1st for their Belize Day as well. And San Antonio, Texas, the same date, September 1st. So if there's people listening to us that are Belizeans listening to us that are in that area, we're coming to your area soon. So you could come and meet us and we could dialogue.
So you guys set up a booth at these events then and
Yes.
make yourself available to
Yes, we do.
people.
And
Okay.
they're a lot of fun, let me tell you.
Well,
Okay.
Miss Ambassador Murphy, we want to thank you for coming. Miss Mahler, we really appreciate you guys being here with us this evening.
Thank you
so
for
much
offering this avenue for us to reach other Belizeans living out there. So thank you for this opportunity.
Well, we're on every Wednesday evening, and if there's any point you want to get something out there, we have many listeners out there. We don't always agree, but we always talk. So, and this is one of the venues that we try to create to keep that contact alive, no?
Thank
Well, we hear from the peninsula of Placentia, where is one of our tourist center. I must tell the minister now, I feel justified now in the hotel tax that we are paying, because I must say that this unit that he has, I can see the benefit that it will bring to Belize. So again, I end on that.
Yeah, we're seeing outstanding public service.
That's right.
We saw that on this show tonight. Thanks, ladies. You represented well. I want to thank you for what you're doing and ask you to please keep on doing that job, and let us all the rest of us, those at home and abroad, work to bring this unity going, man, and so that we can continue to build this country that we all love. Obviously, we all love it, even though we have our own differences and our own ideas of how we should go. At the end of the day, there's love for Belize, and that is what is important, right? Thank you very much. Please have a nice weekend. This weekend in Belize is Agricultural Show, of course. We're having an event here at the Charlie Burton Park on Monday, and maybe the diaspora unit can come in and set up at least something in there, no? But thanks a lot, guys. Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you, too.
Good night,
Gregory
everyone.
again.
Good
Thank you,
night.
Deidre.
Bye-bye.
Sandra.
Right.
See you guys next week, same time, same place. CY, we're out of here.
Good night.
Good night.
I'm going to put up the flyer. I send you one. I send you a flyer about the event and okay. Respect. We're out of here. Come on.
Watch the envious and the jealous dog. Say a prayer chant, Psalms feed them dirty heart. Focus on my meds, keep my cash advance. Cut and clear, judge and me heart. Plus me check them clear. Me have me cash them lock. Then buy some Gucci prints and some Louis Vuittons. Especially mentally when we stock up on those class. When we stock up on those class. Money we are free tonight. Hustling at the streets tonight. That's how we do it. Money we are free tonight. Hustling at the streets tonight. Yeah, that's how we do it. New Gucci reach tonight. Girl, them looking neat tonight. Yeah, that's how we do it. Money in the streets tonight. Money in the streets tonight. Money we are free tonight. Hustling at the streets tonight. That's how we do it. Money we are free tonight. Hustling at the streets tonight. Yeah, that's how we do it. 24/7 when we roll out. Me I go talk some facts, yes, I will me know about. Burn out pagans and run them with them cold mouth. Long time me I trod the street, long time me I roll out. Alright then me have to make the music complete. Long time me and Fire Dice we stand at Jaja feet. We have to complete the mission complete. The reggae music have to fulfill, you know it's sweet. Hey money we are free, and money we are bring. And tell them say we have to get some new kicks and bling. Some new jeans and ting, some fresh strips and ring. And girl them say we look good, relax, clean and ting. Cause Smokey we gamble money like cash fast. On the beach me reach me girl I bring the fat strap. You will squander money, yes we have it stock. Fire Dice buy the NSC, buy all the pack. First rule fraternity, we they at the top. And at the end of the day we make we stop back. Money we are free tonight. Hustling at the streets tonight. That's how we do it. Money we are free tonight. Hustling at the streets tonight. Yeah, that's how we do it. Money we are free tonight. Hustling at the streets tonight. That's how we do it. Money we are free tonight. Hustling at the streets tonight. Yeah, that's how we do it. Money we are free tonight. Hustling at the streets tonight. That's how we do it. Money we are.
Yeah. Ezekiel call them dry bones. One must know. Men have lost their course on a turbo, drift from shore without anchor and row, unsecure. Amazing the battering wind and the trade waters. Golgotha's Titanic, egotistic big ship got rapture. Self-destruct disaster out there on the ocean floor. We can run, hide and peek. Conscience will surely find it. Skip, jump and leap. A clean heart certainly give it. Run, hide and peek. Conscience surely find it. Kneel. Well, blameless and upright Job was a lot in his own sector. 7 sons, 3 daughters, he was anointed by the Holy Father. Haile Selassie, I Kadama, we give it to those who honor and respect his word, keep his word, fear in his heart and love for the Almighty God, adoration for the King of Kings and all the blessings therein, and also his kin in the land of Oz. He was the Wizard of Oz. Early morning, wake up and toiling, nothing funny for money. Holy Haile Selassie, I Kadama, we see this worthy unto him. No hide and peeping. We can run, hide and peep. Conscience will surely find it. Skip, jump and leap. A clean heart certainly give it. Run, hide and peep. Conscience surely find it. Kneel. Yeah. Bow down your soul and your heart, render not your garments, but accept the almighty tenements. Holy Haile Selassie, I set the commandments, pay keen attention and adore him. Ignore him and it's deep sea failure. Why thou trespass the waters of danger? Thou hide and peep it, seek and find it. Holy I Selassie, dear Baba, he got the answer. Might of the Trinity, yes, he holy other and is the power. Holy I Selassie, I give it the minute and the hour. He is the watchtower. He can run, hide and peep. Conscience will surely find thee. Skip, jump and leap. A clean heart certainly keep ye. Run, hide and peep. Conscience surely find ye. Kneel, yeah. Be hopeful and bright in your task.
Oh shit, that's a guitar in the background. You gotta take it up, you know, right? Break it up, right? Yo, rope in again. Once again, CY alongside Kevin. All Rasta, Mira, Mass, everyone knows. All Rasta, Mira, Mass, loud and clear. Make your bed out and you'll have to sleep on it. Other people business, you better stop peep on it. Only your friends can know about your secret. If Adam you, I would have just keep it. Make your bed out and you'll have to sleep on it. Other people business, you better stop peep on it. Only your friends can know about your secret. Don't reveal it. Yo, nowadays highly inclined. Sweet things said after they invent rhyme. 3, 4 fathers when they touch it, we a bit 4 times. With proverbs, we make it in a line. Them say, seek and ye shall find. Them must say the road full with lots of signs. Hard head, soft behind. That's why high big nigga the market too kind. And I'm on step on me grind. We teach the Rasta use the way the system designed. The one I'm on the king in the land of the blind. So don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Don't try to kill the messenger, cause the message is sublime. You can't have no clue who the bell chime. You can't throw shade if you don't get no shine. Friend of an enemy is not a friend of mine. Is not a friend of mine. Make your bed out and you'll have to sleep on it. Other people will be doing a better stop peep on it. Only your friends will know about your secret. Now, don't reveal it. Make your bed out and you'll have to sleep on it. Other people business will better stop it. Only your friends could know about your secret. If I am you, I would have keep it. Try not to take it for joke. Time longer than rope and rope. Really puppy will eventually choke. Can't sing my story, make your boat float. You cannot feel if you never ever try. Spit in the sky, you won't fall back in your eye. Build, you can't cry. Never miss your water till your well run dry. Make your bed out and you'll have to sleep on it. Other people business, you better stop peep on it. Only your friends could know about your secret.
They say you never miss your water until your well run dry. And overspilled milk, a big man is not supposed to cry. Well then, butter brim, if you're the woman butter brim, them could have charged her for sin. Butter brim, straight cleaning, in sort of fucking. Butter brim, fully they made examine, figure and lose such a sweet brownie. Butter brim, now it's the dread she call it when she need sexual healing. Anyways, one man lost is another man's gain. If you can't handle the traffic, then stay out the lane. Behind her beautiful smile, she was hiding her pain. You couldn't see the tears due to the falling rain. But with a woman emotion, son, you don't wanna play games. Then got certain moves that want put you to shame. And then you begging and you balling will all be in vain. When I bet she call the next man name. Remember all of the first time you meet it. You have to do that plus much more for keep it. Candlelight dinner, wine and chocolate. Don't forget the roses, big man, you stalk it. You should have me walk her down to the pulpit and remove her sexy ass from off for the market. Your friends don't have no woman, but them calling you whip. And like an idiot, you believe it. Butter brim, if you're the woman, butter brim. them call the charger fi seen. But a brim, straight clean, in such a fucking. But a brim, fool need made examine. Figure lose such a sweet specimen. But a brim, now it's the dread she call it when she need sexual healing. A woman is a gift unto humanity. Treat her with respect and dignity. Heed the words of the great Tyrus Riley. She royal, will treat her like royalty. She works, she cooks, she clean and wash your stinking laundry. All she wanted in return was your loyalty. Could I make her a carnival free karaoke? Her love just come down and she need a remedy. You met her at the peak of her sexuality. Wrong time to leave a big woman lonely. Pretty like an angel, but she well freaky. And now she feeling horny. Income not a dread to fulfill her fantasy. She blows when I whisper sweet nothing softly. She's on a journey. On to ecstasy. But a brim, if you're the woman, but a brim. Many more is open. To the right pan, Jaja subway, Rasta no need no token. One door is closed, many more. And it's that Jaja with the love with heart will never be broken. One door is closed, many more is open. To the right pan, Jaja subway, Rasta no need no token. One door is closed, many more. And it's that Jaja with the love. Me one bread that try fist up me in a me back. My girlfriend left me true, me never have no dollars in a stock. Best friend about the claim, they dread, they smoke. How the lyrics, where will they drop the walk? Big game hunters, them they set them trap. But we they pray to the Father non-stop. Help me keep the heathens back. Help me keep the heathens back. When one door is closed, many more is open. To the right pan, Jaja subway, Rasta no need no